Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to online classes of Iqra of Fast by secondary schools and colleges, our project of Iqra education system. Dear brothers, in the last video lecture, we went through the keywords and their meanings of chapter number 6, King Faisal. Today in this video lecture, we will go through the summary and explanation of this chapter. King Faisal. Faisal bin Abdul Aziz Al Saud was born on 14th April 1907 and died on 25th March 1975. He was King of Saudi Arabia from 2nd November 1964 to 25th March 1975. Faisal was the third son of King Abdul Aziz. His mother, Tarfa, was a member of the Al-Ash Sheikh family, which has produced many prominent Saudi religious leaders. Faisal emerged as an influential royal politician under his father and brother King Saud, serving as foreign minister of Saudi domains for all but 2 years from 1930 until his death. He was crown prince after Saud's accession in 1953, and in that position he outlawed slavery in Saudi Arabia. He persuaded King Saud to abdicate in his favor in 1964 with the help of the other members of the royal family and his relative, Grand Mufti Muhammad ibn Ibrahim al-Sheikh. Faisal was appointed foreign minister and viceroy of Hijaz in 1926 after his father conquered that province, in which lies the holy city of Makkah. In 1934, he led a victorious campaign against Yemen. He represented Saudi Arabia at the United Nations Conference of 1945 and was later ambassador to the UN General Assembly. Later on, Faisal implemented a policy of modernization and reforms. His main foreign policy themes were pro-Islamism, anti-communism, and pro-Palestinianism. He attempted to limit the power of Islamic religious officials. King Faisal had also withdrawn Saudi oil from world markets in protest over Western support for Israel during the conflict. This move had increased the price of oil and was the primary force behind the 1973 oil crisis. It was to be a defining act of King Faisal's career and gained him lasting prestige among many Arab and Muslim nations. Faisal successfully stabilized the king's bureaucracy, and his reign had significant popularity among Saudi Arabians despite his reforms facing some controversy. As one of King Abdulaziz's eldest sons, King Faisal was given numerous responsibilities to consolidate control over Arabia. After the capture of Hale and initial control over Asir in 1922, the two cities of Saudi Arabia, he was sent to these provinces with nearly 6,000 fighters. He achieved complete control over Asir at the end of the year. Prince Faisal was appointed Viceroy of Hijaz in 1926 following his father's takeover of the region. As I earlier mentioned it, he often consulted with local leaders during his tenure. In 1930, he became the Minister of Foreign Affairs. He would continue to oversee Saudi foreign policy until his death, even as king, with only a 2-year break between 1960 and 1962. Faisal visited Europe several times in this time period, including Poland in 1932 and Russia in 1933. He commanded a campaign during the Saudi-Yemeni War in 1934, resulting in a Saudi victory. Here I would like to tell you furthermore about his visit to Pakistan. Although the elder brother of King Faisal, named King Saud bin Abdul Aziz of Saudi Arabia, had visited Karachi as a crown prince in April 1914, even before the creation of Pakistan, or you can say 7 years before the Indo-Pak partition. He was the first monarch from the oil-rich kingdom to officially tour an independent Pakistan in 1954. The friendship bond between the founding fathers of Pakistan and Saudi Arabia thus dates back to April 1940, meaning thereby that the Saudi rulers hailing from the House of Saud have enjoyed a time-tested religious, economic and geopolitical relationship with Pakistan much before its inception or creation. In Karachi, Saud bin Abdul Aziz was accorded a very warm welcome by local Old India Muslim League leaders, which included the likes of Mirza Abul Hasan Isfahani, M.A. Mianar and Karim Bhai Ibrahim. The then Saud Crown Prince Saud bin Abdul Aziz was accompanied by a large delegation, a group of people, including his 5 brothers, Prince Faisal, who later became King Faisal, Prince Saad, Prince Fahad, Prince Mansoor and Prince Abdullah. There is, however, no record of the dignitaries meeting with Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Probably they could not hold any meeting with the founder of Pakistan, Muhammad Ali Jinnah. In 1946, Muhammad Ali Jinnah sent a delegation of leaders of the Pakistan movement under Mr. Isfahani to the United Nations, while the Indian National Congress team was obstructing the Muslim League envoys' engagements. Prince Faisal bin Abdul Aziz, who was leading the Saudi delegation, came to their rescue. Saudi Arabia invited Isfahani and his colleagues to the official reception given in the honor of all other delegates at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Prince Faisal had then introduced members of the Pakistan movement to other UN delegates, where they explained their struggle for a separate homeland. King Faisal was actually a devoted Muslim and led a very simple life. He tried his best to see his people live according to the teachings of Islam. He possessed himself great qualities of leadership and proved to be an able ruler. He loved his people and ruled the country wisely and justly. Faisal considered education very important for the progress of his people. He opened many schools where education was free for all. He set up or established several universities where students are not only given free education but are also awarded stipends to meet other needs and expenses. Now, in Saudi Arabia, because of the efforts of King Faisal, there are many hospitals and dispensaries overall his kingdom. A Bedouin living even 1,000 kilometers from the capital will anyhow find a hospital or dispensary within his reach where he lives. The king helped the needy and the poor and provided many facilities to the pilgrims. He had a strong wish to unite the Muslims of the whole world together, and his services in making the Muslim conscious of the need for brotherhood can never be forgotten. He followed a simple rule of Prophet ﷺ, and he practiced what he preached and assisted the Muslim countries of the world. He was an equal partner with Pakistan in holding the Islamic Summit Conference at Lahore in 1974 under the presidence of Zulfiqar Ali Bhutto. That was a great achievement, or I would say that it was just an inception of the great achievement when Zulfiqar Ali Bhutto was assassinated here in Pakistan, and later King Faisal was assassinated by his own nephew Faisal ibn Masood, the son of his brother King Saud. Here let me tell you a little about the rivalry between King Faisal and King Saud, both the brothers. It went on for about 11 years. In 1953, King Ibn Saud designated his older son Saud as crown prince. And after the death of the king in November 1953 and the accession of Saud, the contrast in character and personality between these two brothers became evident. While Saud was flamboyant and extravagant in his spending, Faisal was frugal, reserved and efficient. Faisal expressed his displeasure at Saud's ineffective administration by repeated withdrawals from politics. Finally, on November 2nd, 1964, King Saud was forced to abdicate in favor of Faisal, who became king. But later in 1975, King Faisal was assassinated by his nephew Faisal bin Musaid, the son of his older brother King Saud, as mentioned earlier. On 25th March 1975, he went to the royal palace in Riyadh, where King Faisal was holding a meeting known as Majlis. He joined a Kuwaiti delegation and lined up to meet the king. King Faisal recognized his nephew and bent his head forward so that the younger Faisal could kiss the king's head in a sign of respect. The prince took out a revolver from his robe and shot the king twice in the head. His third shot missed and threw the gun away. King Faisal fell to the floor. Bodyguards with swords and machine guns arrested the prince. Then the king was quickly rushed to a hospital, but doctors declared him dead. Saudi television captured the entire assassination on camera. Alas, King Faisal was no more. King Faisal was a sincere friend and well-wisher of the people of Pakistan, and he gave generous help to this country on several occasions. Perhaps no one outside Pakistan could be more unhappy than King Faisal was on the separation of East Pakistan, which is now Bangladesh. He was also against the state of Israel because of its enmity towards the Arabs. He strengthened the Arabs in the war against Israel. He felt deeply grieved when Israelites set the Al-Aqsa Mosque on fire. King Faisal made every possible effort to get back the Arab territories under the illegal occupation of Israel. This great king died in an assault by his own wicked nephew. The Muslims all over the world mourned his death. The people of Pakistan in particular felt deep grief at this sad news. There was not even a single person in any single house in Pakistan who did not mourn his death, as if an elder of the family had passed away. And beyond any doubt, King Faisal had supervised Pakistan in all situations. He was the religious leader of the Muslims and the guardian of the two holy places, Makkah al-Mukarramah and Medina. We will always remember him as a noble and pious Muslim leader, and his name shall live forever in our hearts. So my dear brothers, I have explained you this chapter along with some additional information about King Faisal and his politics, his personal life, and his relation with Pakistan and his visits to Pakistan too. I hope you have been able to understand what I have explained you here. You may go through the chapter once on your own, as you know already the meaning of the keywords or some new words which you may be unfamiliar with, so you will have no problem in understanding this passage on your own too. We will meet again inshallah ta'ala with the contextual exercises of this chapter in the next video lecture. Till then, take very good care of yourselves. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.